And there was other things. I mean, we did so much stuff. I mean, the Germans were working really hard. The I think the Chinese and Japan or the Asians were working really hard. I mean, I don't know what the Middle Easterns were doing. Like I said, like Israel, basically, I wanted to build a city out in the desert, and where there were, I think what it was, I forget what it was, but it was something where basically I was tired of civilization, and realistically, I was tired. I think maybe I might have even been kicked out. I don't know, but basically, I think mostly what it was I was tired of drowning in the mines because every single time we dig down, my people, you're always getting flooded with water. You can dig down a couple hundred feet or a couple thousand feet, but sooner or later you hit water, and then it's always bloop bloop, depending on where you are. So and one time there's this colony, and they're like, "There's no water, there's no water." I was like, "Dig a hole, dig down. How deep? Keep going. You'll hit water." Like, trust me, just about anywhere, if you start digging down, you're going to hit water or find water eventually. Like, I don't know if very many. There might be a mine, it might be possible where there are places where you won't hit water or something like that. But almost on a lot of the mines I was doing, eventually you always find water. And then you got to start pumping it out and stuff like that. Or your mine just fills up with water from rainwater coming in the hole and stuff like that. A lot of my mines ended up being water storage sites because you just direct the water to go in there and then they fill up. They're basically big, huge things built in rock or and stuff like that. So anyway, lots of people would use my old mine shafts as basically water storage sites, pretty much. Capable of holding thousands or millions of gallons. And wood, it does rot, but it doesn't really affect the taste of the water that much. I don't know. I mean, it depends. You get mold in there and stuff like that. So, I mean, you always got to treat it afterwards, but it's still a good water. Better than building a tank sometimes. Lasts a long time too, usually. So, anyway, a lot longer than any metal water storage thing. Anyway, though, but yeah, I mean, I forget. I wish I could look up Star Line cinemas because I think we did do that Star Line cinemas, and there might be some records of that. Because, like I said, it was my name, Lusifer Star Line. So I just changed my name, or didn't really change my name, but I became Brian, American Citizen Brian. So Brian Briley. I thought it was cute. It was like Brian Briley, whatever. But realistically, I'm Little Lucifer. And at times, in other situations, I was like, because I'm Lucifer. Ah. Where it's like where other people are like, ah. I'm like, oh yeah. Anyway, like I say, creator, whatever, all that stuff. Like I say, like I tell lots of other people, I mean, you shouldn't go around telling people that you're, I can't say with a straight face, God or a creator unless you really are one. So, and I was pretty damn sure. I'm pretty damn sure that I'm a creator. Plus the LSF colony ship and all that other stuff. And I wouldn't know these things, and I wouldn't, if I wasn't actually a real creator, living a life as a human person for the first time ever. I said that's why a lot of people are like, "You're human before. You're human before." It's like unless you count what Abraham Lincoln did to me, being human, and I was only for a little bit, and then I was killed or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. I just remember bits and pieces of it, and technically I died, like I say, but I lived past it, I guess. So I was saved somehow. I was also nuked, and that was really weird because everything went white. It was like 1 minute I was there, I guess, and the next minute I was like, and it was all white. And I guess I was dead, but I don't know. It was instantaneous. You would think you would you'd know it, but it was just instantaneous or something like that. I really thought I was going to get out of that one, but I didn't. And I think it was 150 million years before someone figured it out or found me. Anyway, I don't really know. I don't really care. It was somewhere in Russia or something. and the Russian scientists were killed, and Russia was blamed or something like that. And it wasn't them though, I don't think. Like my Russian scientists would never kill me like that. Like it wasn't their fault. Like I said, all my people always loved me and cared about me, as far as I know, except for maybe like JFK and Nixon and them. But then again, they were trying to live in my White House. They were trying to say that they were Lucifer Star or something like that, or the inventor of flight, or the creator, or something like that. It's like they weren't though. They're just lying. Even Rodney, running around to people saying that he had immortality, or telling people that he had mortality if they listened to him or something like that. I don't know. Someone said that Rodney might have traveled back in time or something like that, or blah blah blah, and told people that if they followed him or whatever, that they would have immortality, blah blah, or something like that. Or but he didn't really have immortality. Instead of followed him instead of me or something like that. I don't really know. Like I said, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't about the crazy plans. I was just existing. I'm existing here, man. I was just existing, and like I said, I was #1 civilization creator in the universe. And for a long time, people said, "Anton, are you Anton?" And it's like, no Anton here. No, I'm not Anton. Anton, no, that was somebody painting my ships, Anton, or something like that. That was a black guy somewhere else. And no, they were just, like I said, there was 2 shops or 2 tugboat services in Belfast or something like that. One was LS or Star Line, or me basically, Belfast Tugboat Service or whatever, run by my people, and one was Anton's Tugboats or something like that, and or some other shop basically. And my people called them out on it because because they would have the sign, and people would go into their tugboat service, and then their people at the end of the day would go and run across the street to my tugboat service, and then they would pay my tugboat service the nominal fee that we normally charged. Because like I said, the Titanic and all the ships going in and out of my shipyard and going around in all my ships, I needed a tugboat service. I need tugboats for my ships because I had like hundreds or so. So I needed a standing team or standing army of tugboats, basically, to push my ships around and maneuver my ships, because I had hundreds of ships. Leviathan, Lusitania, Titanic, all these ships, because I have a real shipyard. When you're really building ships, you need tugboats to move them around. And that's also why we use tugboats instead of having like thrusters and everything else like that, because it's like, well, I need them anyway. For a lot of the maneuvering and stuff like that. Plus, taking a ship, to get outfitted or whatever. And I just need tugboats, and I had little tugboats, and the first tugboats were probably normal ships that we just converted over to tugboats. That were just still good hulls or whatever. I don't know, and so I had all these little ships and stuff like that, pushing my big ships around. So it was just easier to do that, and I just paid people, or I had plenty of people anyway, like I said, people would give me people, and they would go up to my people or go up to me, or not go up to me, but they would say to me basically, they could have our children can have a better life with you and your people. And so it's like, well, I don't know about that, but okay. I mean, sure. I mean, I didn't really want to separate the children from the parents, and that's another reason why like a lot of immigrants or whatever, people from other countries were like trying to get their children, just like parents would literally get pregnant and then run across the border, have the child in one of my countries, and then leave the country and go back home so their child would have a better life. And it's just like, I mean, that, I don't know. I mean, that's just, so I mean, it's really thoughtful or something, and it's like, well, why don't you guys stay too? I mean, if it's like that, you guys can stay for a while and then leave, later on, once you get on your feet or get a little something, work really hard, whatever. I'm all about that. So, and that's what America was. I mean, so anyway, I mean, namer of America, and also the one who named America, created the laws and everything else, and like, I don't understand the big deal. I mean, I guess because there are just too many people coming across the borders, and mostly I'm just about the documentation. It's like, I want we need documentation in case you get disappeared, or something happens to you, or something happens, blah blah, so, and I don't want people being taken advantage of or something like that. Like an undocumented worker dies, it's like, oh, an undocumented worker dies. Well, who is he really? Where'd he come from? Or if a worker comes across the border and then kills someone, it's like, well, now he's a murderer and a bad person, and well, I don't want him coming back into my country if he's a psychotic killer. But most people aren't like that. Most people just want, the public education system and basically a nice, safe place to raise a child. What they call the American dream. It's actually the LS, Lusifer Star Dream, basically. It's because I had enough money and had enough people that I could protect a country pretty damn well. And I had a lot of people coming over and in and stuff like that. I had this huge world conglomerate, and technically my conglomerate extended to other places.